Hi everyone, welcome to Growing Spaces. Today I'm going to be taking you on a virtual tour of all 6 sizes of growing domes here at our Pagosa Springs facility. Our growing domes are naturally wind resistant, come with a 24-inch all-weather wood foundation wall, automated ventilation systems, above ground pond, and north wall insulation. We'll get into all the details of that as we go along on our tour. Our growing domes are 3/8 of a sphere, and as we go around, you will notice that some things have changed over the last 30 years that we've been in business. So I'll point out some R&D that we're working on, and other than that, let's go ahead and take a tour. So here we are at our 15-foot growing dome. This is the smallest size of growing dome that we offer at 150 square feet. This is perfect for backyard gardeners or small families, as this size dome will easily feed 2 to 3 people. The geodesic dome is inherently one of the strongest structures known to man. Our growing domes can be made to withstand snow loads up to 175 pounds per square foot. Now this does require a little bit of engineering modifications, but we are happy to work with your building department and with our engineers to accomplish that for you. They're also rated for 115 mile/hour winds, and they are covered in our 16mm polycarbonate, which has an R value of 2.8 and allows for 65% light transmission. The polycarbonate does have a warranty of 10 years, and that is against yellowing and hail damage. So let's go ahead and take a look inside. So here we are inside of the 15-foot growing dome. We do have a wide-angle lens on the camera so that you could get the big picture, but keep in mind that this dome is still 15 feet in diameter. At the center point of the dome, we are looking at 9 feet 5 inches high, so you do have the option of growing plants like tomatoes that often take up a lot of vertical space. This dome does come standard with 2 lower vents and 1 upper vent for passive ventilation, and you do have the option of adding active ventilation into the dome with the form of the hybrid solar fan or an electric fan. The electric fan is great if you do plan on running utilities out to your greenhouse. You could couple either of those fans with a misting system, which is part of our desert cooling package, and that will also help to reduce temperatures in the dome. Let's go ahead and take a look at this pond. So the pond in the 15 is approximately 700 gallons. You can add a solar water feature if you'd like. This is an older model. We now sell a spillway, which you'll see in some of the other domes. Now, the bed design in this dome is very unique. We have utilized all of the perimeter space as well as the center of the dome. And this helps to maximize the growing space, but still allows you to be able to access your plants easily. We've also made sure that these beds are low enough that you still get the thermal gain from the sun throughout the winter months. Additionally, you can also add an extra upper vent, which will help to exhaust the hot air out of the top of the dome. Next up, we have our 18-foot growing dome. This is about 250 square feet, so it's perfect for those that are working within the confines of a small backyard, or if you just have a small family to feed. You can easily grow enough food in here to feed approximately 3 to 4 people. So before we head inside, I did want to take a quick second to point out some things going on outside of the growing dome. So as you can see over here, we do have a patch of sunflowers. It's very important to have flowering plants outside of your greenhouse to help attract pollinators that can then enter your growing dome through the vents and help pollinate your crops. You'll also notice here that we have an exterior bed. This bed is located on the south side of the dome, which helps to add extra insulation to the dome, especially in the winter months. And right now we're currently growing potatoes, but you could grow squash or anything that's kind of low-lying here in the perimeter. You do want to make sure that, especially in the winter months, you make sure to remove that snow from the top of these perimeter beds. That way you're not limiting the thermal gain that you'll get throughout the winter. So here we are in our 18-foot growing dome. Again, we have the wide-angle lens on the camera, so don't let that deceive you. This is 18 feet in diameter, and our center point in this dome is about 10 feet 5 inches high. We do have the same options in the 18 as we have in the 15, which is the 2 lower vents and 1 upper vent. So you could add an additional upper vent to help exhaust more of the hot air out of the top of the dome. You could also add a solar fan or an electric fan to help bring in that cooler air from outside. And you could couple either one of those fans with the misting system, which is our desert cooling package. So this pond is slightly larger at approximately 725 gallons. And again, you do have the option of adding the solar water feature, which is going to help circulate the water throughout the above ground pond. I also want to point out our north wall insulation here. So this insulation is going to help regulate the temperatures and create even lighting situations throughout the year. In the winter months when the sun is low on the horizon, the reflective material is going to help reflect the sun's rays back towards the pond, warming up the water. And in the summertime, when the sun is high up on the horizon, this is going to help provide shade to your pond and thus keep your dome cooler. One of the great things about the growing dome is the ability to design the interior however you'd like. So here we've utilized a keyhole design to help maximize growing space, but still give us plenty of space to move around and work in here. We have also added an aquaponics table. Now, you have the option of growing in soil or water or a mixture of both. Designing a hydroponics or an aquaponics system is going to be entirely up to you as the customer. So here we have our 22-foot growing dome. When we make the jump from 18 feet to 22 feet, we do change frequencies. So here we have a 3-frequency dome. Still covered in the same polycarbonate material, there's just more triangles and different shapes that go into making this structure. This is the oldest dome that we have on our property. She is well into her 20s and has lived a great life. We are getting ready to put her into retirement as she's not in the ideal location anymore since we've expanded our facility. So when you do come and tour in person, you'll likely get to see a brand new 22-foot growing dome. So our 22-foot growing dome has approximately 350 square feet of space to work with. You can easily feed 4 to 6 people within this space. We do have a vertical clearance of about 10 feet 10 inches right in the center of the dome, and this is the smallest dome that we recommend if you really want to grow any types of fruiting trees, because as you can see, Mr. Fig here is utilizing all of the vertical space that he has. So this model does come standard with 4 venting windows that are all operated off of temperature-controlled beeswax pistons. You'll have 2 lowers and 2 uppers. You do have the option of adding an additional lower vent for some extra passive ventilation. You can also add active ventilation in the form of hybrid solar fans, electric fans, a combination of both, and you can also couple those with the misting system as part of the desert cooling package. So the pond in this dome is approximately 900 gallons. You of course have the option of adding your solar water feature, and the purpose of the pond is to act as your thermal battery within the greenhouse. So you've probably noticed that the ponds were all different colors, but they're all dark colors. And that is to help absorb the heat of the sun during the day, and then the pond will help to release that heat throughout the night, regulating your temperatures between day and night in the greenhouse. In the wintertime, this fig will lose its leaves, so you'll still be getting that solar gain. In this dome, we've chosen to highlight some of the different bed materials that you can use. So we have a siding material, we have a stucco, and we also have a natural rock wall. The options are really endless. Moving on from the 22-foot growing dome, we have the 26-foot growing dome. This has historically been our best seller. With 550 square feet of growing space, there's plenty of room to grow enough food for 5 to 7 people, while still having a little hangout space in there, enough room for a table or a chair, or a couple of them. Our center point of this dome is 12 feet 7 inches high, and this dome does come standard with 4 vents, as well as a hybrid solar fan. You do have the option of adding an additional hybrid solar fan or an additional vent. You can also replace the 2 upper vents with an attic fan if you live in a particularly windy climate. All of our domes come standard with some type of automated ventilation, whether that be the vents or the fans or a combination of both. The vents operate using a temperature-controlled beeswax piston that opens and closes around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, while the thermostatically controlled vents can be set to whatever temperature you would like them to turn on at and then turn off at. We also include an Illuminate shade cloth with every dome kit, and this helps to provide a little bit of shade to your dome and to keep your dome a little bit cooler. The domes are on average about 20 to 30 degrees warmer than your outside ambient temperatures. This pond is approximately 1,050 gallons, and we also have added the solar water feature. You can utilize this space for more than just the thermal battery of your growing dome. This acts as its own ecosystem. So we have goldfish in here and plenty of plants. Keeping your surface of your pond covered at least 60% with vegetation is going to help prevent any algae buildup. Quick note, this tape is not standard for our growing dome kits. This is a tape we were testing for research and development purposes, but your dome will come with a clear aircraft tape. Here we are at our 33-foot growing dome. As you can tell, this is an older model that has some features that we have discontinued and since upgraded. One of those being our 16-inch foundation wall. All of our domes do now come standard with a 24-inch all-weather wood insulated foundation wall. This wall is filled with a 2-inch rigid foam insulation, which is an owner-supplied item. There are a few items that are either too bulky or too expensive for us to ship to you in the kit and are readily available at local hardware stores, this being one of those items. The sheet metal that lines the interior of the wall helps protect your wall from any moisture that may occur in your soil. As you can see, we also have our rodent protection option installed here. This is not an option that comes with the kit, but we do provide detailed instructions if you do deal with critters like voles or mice or squirrels, chipmunks, any of those little guys. The rodent protection is a great option for you. For the sake of demonstration, we've left the hardware cloth exposed, but when you install this, you will end up covering this with the 3/4 minus rock that you use for your foundation. So before we go inside, I do want to mention that this vestibule is also a component that we have discontinued. We have since upgraded all of our doorways from an inset doorway to a snow shed doorway, which is what you've seen on all of the other growing domes. Let's go on in. So our 33-foot growing dome does have approximately 850 square feet to work with. At our center point of the dome, we are looking at 15 feet, 5 inches high. So there's plenty of room for large trees. You have a space where you could put a table if you'd like. These domes are great for communities or schools, organizations that are trying to feed a large group of people. Don't let that mislead you. These are also great for your homestead or your backyard if you do have the room. Now this dome will come standard with one electric fan and one solar-powered attic fan. The electric fan is going to be your intake, and the attic fan will exhaust the hot air out of your dome. This is the first size of dome that you'll see in our hierarchy of domes where we do not have any vents. The optional upgrades that you can add to this dome include extra electric fans if you wish for more airflow inside. You can also add an additional attic fan to help exhaust that hot air out of the dome. And if you do not plan on running electricity to your greenhouse, you could upgrade to the solar-powered cooling option, which would get rid of that one electric fan and replace it with 2 solar-powered fans. Now these fans are a little bit different than the fans that you saw in the other domes. These solar fans are 100% solar powered and they do not have a battery system, so they will only operate when the sun is shining. The other option that you could add when it comes to fans is the desert cooling package, which would come with either a solar fan or an electric fan and a misting system to help keep your dome cool. As far as keeping the dome cool, as you can see in this particular dome, we don't necessarily have any tall trees growing, but we do have our grapevine that we have trellised along the southern wall, and that is going to help provide shade to your plants along with the shade cloth that comes standard with every dome kit. So the pond in this dome is approximately 2,900 gallons, and of course you do have the option of adding your water feature to help circulate the water throughout the pond. Additionally, you can also add a secondary door, which while it may limit some of your bed space, does provide additional ventilation. Here we are at our grand finale. This is our 42-foot growing dome. This is currently the newest growing dome that we have on our property, built in 2022. So this does have all of the newest options and upgrades available. And this dome easily feeds a community with 1,300 square feet of growing space. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. The 42-foot dome does have the most vertical space since it is the largest of all of the greenhouses. So we are looking at 16 feet, 6 inches from the center point of the ground to the apex of the dome. There's plenty of space for large trees, and there's also plenty of room to congregate in here. We've set up this dome so we've maximized the growing space, but have still allowed for seating areas, so we have the potential to teach classes in here or hold large groups of people. This dome kit does come standard with 2 electric intake fans. You do have the option of adding an additional one of those if you'd like, or you could add the desert cooling package, which would include an extra electric fan plus a misting system. If you don't plan on running electricity to your greenhouse, you could upgrade to the solar-powered cooling option, which would replace those 2 electric fans with 3 solar-powered intake fans. Your dome is also going to come with 2 solar-powered attic fans, and you have the option of adding an additional one. The pond in this dome is approximately 3,600 gallons, and you do have the option of adding the solar-powered water feature, or an option that is so new I forgot to mention it in all of the other domes, and that is the electric-powered water feature. It's a little bit cloudy right now, so our solar-powered water feature isn't currently running, but our electric feature is running just fine. Here at Growing Spaces, we've tried our best to maximize the passive solar benefits of the sun, along with the geothermal benefits of the earth. One of the things that's going to come standard in each dome kit, regardless of the size, is our undersoil ventilation system. The system is comprised of a fan that's located behind your pond and a corrugated pipe that runs around these perimeter beds and comes out on the south side of the dome. This system acts as a mini climate battery, harnessing the geothermal properties of the soil. Thank you so much for coming on a tour with me today. If you would like to see the growing domes in person or a growing dome local to you, please give us a call or use the link down in the description box below. If you're new to the world of growing domes, we also have our buyer's guide linked below, which is a great resource for those of you that would like to compare greenhouses and look at all of the different sizes and options that we have. We also have our newsletter linked below, which is a great resource for dome owners or potential dome owners that has dome owner stories, dome grown recipes, gardening advice, and all of our current news and events. If you are ready to buy, we would love to get you connected with a Growing Dome advisor. So please give us a call at 1-800-753-9333 or use the link down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you soon.